Hello everyone, this is Dustin Dawson, aka The Hopeful Gamer. Going to be doing match number 7 with Budlink. We're doing another restricted match. Today I'm going to be featuring a team using Necrozma and Zacian. I haven't really put much thought into it. It's kind of just something I threw together last second, but I think it'll still work out. That being said, we're going to go ahead and start searching. And just go ahead and get this battle going. My friend Zorn is in the room with me as well, and he might be asking a question or two as I do my battle, so just a heads up.
Hello, hello.
Decide myself. Let's actually switch the mode on the microphone. There we go. Voice cracks, they're fun. Alright. You gotta do normal rules so that legendary Pokemon can be used. Here's the team I'm going to be using. I think this will work out better than the team I used last week, but we will find out. So let's do it. Alright, let's see what Budlink's got going for me this time. Interesting. Alright, well, Clang is 100% Eviolited. It is indeed an interesting team. Alright. I feel pretty safe, honestly, opening up Necrozma. I don't see anything on the team that resisted except for Zapdos. And that only resists to Steel. Psychic does pretty well into the rest of the team, and Psychic Surge will just help me out even further. So I honestly feel like that's a pretty good opening. So we can go Necrozma and Raichu. Raichu obviously able to Brutal Swing, but also has that Fake Out support and Nuzzle just in case I need to slow something down, allowing Necrozma to outspeed it. Obviously went Zacian in the back. I don't think we want Calris. I don't think we want Landorus in the back. There's not really much physical attack going on the opponent's side of the field from what I can see. Toxapex is an interesting choice. I need to be wary of that. I do have Raichu with the electric type attacks, but outside of that I need something to deal with it. Heatran looks pretty good because he's got that earth power and he's not going to make contact, so no chance to be poisoned or anything. Spiky Shield won't do anything to him, so I think Heatran's the best fourth. Alright, there we go.
So you picked 4 Pokemon?
Yeah.
Out of the 6?
Yeah. Normally you can only pick 4, but since we're doing the free-for-all battle, I have to make sure I only choose 4.
Okay, gotcha.
Alright, he changes his outfit every time. Alright, this is looking pretty promising. So, honestly, I feel pretty safe to just go Max Quake here into Mewtwo and go for Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing will do super effective both opposing, and it'll also set off my weakness policy on my Necrozma, so yeah. I'm Focus Sashed. I'm definitely faster than the Indeedee. I'm not faster than the Mewtwo, I know that, but I don't think Mewtwo can do much against Necrozma. I've been wrong before though, so we'll see what happens. Huh?
So that is a thick Mewtwo.
I'll keep that ear open so you can speak to me. I finally got my hat, by the way. I'm super happy about that. I got my Zarude and immediately went and picked up the hat and threw it on. So now I really look like a standard Pokemon trainer. It is a very cool looking Pokemon. That's where that bolt comes in handy. Next should be Raichu. Next will be the Indeedee. That Raichu down to 1. That's alright. +2 Max Quake. That's a bulky Mewtwo. Whew! I think honestly we're pretty safe to just go for another Max Quake. Or we can Max Guard. No. The Fake Out might be important later. I might want to switch here. Do I have anything in the back that resists Psychic? I have Heatran. That's actually a pretty safe bet. Heatran also resists the Psychic typing, so yep. That's fine. We increased our special defense, so we should still be able to take that pretty okay. Alright, now we'll be able to take pretty much any attack from the opposing team. I feel like we're pretty safe. What was his other legend? He had Mewtwo. I can't remember. Oh, Eternatus. There you go. So honestly, we can just max Mindstorm the Eternatus. Or we can max Guard. Since we've already taken out his Dynamax, that'll preserve my dude. And then I can just Earth Power the Eternatus. With the +1 special defense, my Heatran should be able to take pretty much anything that gets thrown out here. Is that a Power Herb Eternatus? That is not a Power Herb Eternatus. So, probably going down here. But we still have Zacian in the back, so we're sitting pretty. I just need to take out his Eternatus, and I think we've got the rest of this game pretty wrapped up. Who are you hitting? There. Got that +2 special defense though, so. Alright. Psychic Fangs. Alright. I mean, honestly, it's just kind of whatever here. You can take out both my Pokemon, but I still have 2 Pokemon in the back. Whew. Alright, well that went a lot better than I thought it was going to. Game 2.
Oh.
Now that Taco John's is hitting me.
Yeah. Dude, it hit me hard earlier.
Oh, so much food.
I had to get a little caffeine in me. Wake up from that freaking taco coma.
Oh, seems to be an issue. I'll cut the recording for a minute. Alright, we are back. Gonna go ahead and search for him again. That Pokemon Center theme never gets old. Alright. Mewtwo and Eternatus. Decide myself. Double battle rules. Yeah, let's switch the music one more time. Alright, so again, today we are using Necrozma and Zacian, and he is using Mewtwo and Eternatus. Honestly, I should probably stop using Zacian. He's a little busted, and I want to try other stuff out. So, next week I'll probably have a completely different team. Alright, honestly, I felt like that open last game was pretty good, but the Psychic Terrain's kind of a pain. I think we can open Zacian Heatran. I mean, might as well. Nah. We'll just open Double Dogs. We'll have Raichu and Heatran in the back. This way I can put on some immediate offensive pressure without having to rely on weakness policy. But at the same time, you know, Necrozma, like, he has to do spread damage, otherwise one of my Pokemon just gets to run away with its attack power. Both of these Pokemon hit really hard, so it's probably going to be really difficult for Budlink, in all honesty. Alright. And again, I still have not remembered to put Protect on my dog. That being said, I think he could take one hit from either of these guys, so let's go ahead and do that. Dynamax and Max Mindstorm. Yep, that's probably a good bet. That way we also already have the Psychic Terrain up, so later on my Raichu might actually be able to fake out, because the Psychic Terrain might run out by the time he gets it, or if he switches in his Indeedee on Psychic Terrain, then the terrain doesn't get like an extension or anything. That's fine. Thank God I didn't attack that. So, 1/4 of its HP. That means basically I probably would have one-shot it if it hadn't blocked. So, next turn it's most likely going down. That being said, I'm not going to get any special attack boosts. Shift gear, huh? Black Sludge. Yeah, none of my moves are super effective against that thing, but I'm at +3 attack. So, actually, You just do that. And go for a Max Quake on this guy. Oh, I have a feeling I went to one-shot a Clang that Dynamaxed. Then again, it has Eviolite, so it's a very bulky Pokemon. I might not be able to one-shot it even at +3 Sacred Sword.
Oh my gosh, it's a big one.
That is unfortunate. This is why I want to stop using Zacian. It's not like, if he's not using Zacian as well, it's not a very fair Pokemon, and I want to have fun in these matches as well and learn stuff instead of just using the same stuff the whole time. So yeah, next week I'll definitely be swapping out for some different Pokemon. Oh, that thing is so thick. Adranatus. Like, I have to attack that down. Then it's Poison Dragon, so neither of its stabs are really going to hit me that hard. It is a special attacker though, so one more Max Quake and I should be sitting pretty. That's fine. That's the unfortunate part about Toxapex is, like, all it can do is just kind of sit there.
It was very anime.
It was very anime.
Super anime.
Huh?
It was super anime. Oh, dang.
So, yeah. Zacian, super good. When Restricted comes around, you guys should definitely look forward to seeing this Pokemon. Like, he's gonna be everywhere. I'm faster than you two. That being said... yeah, it's just Psychic Fangs at this point. All of my moves make contact, so I'm probably going to get poisoned. Oh, it probably has Regenerator, now that I think about it. Oh boy. But I increased my special defense, so we're okay. Yeah, after I got the Swords Dance off, like, I feel like that was pretty much it. So I guess it was okay that I had Swords Dance, but at the same time, just like, I really wish I would put Protect on him and stop using that move. Alright, so that's the end of Game 2. I'm gonna cut the recording and pick back up with our commentary on the match. Alright, and we are back with commentary on the match. I have a feeling that I have some harsh words that are going to be coming my way.
No, not harsh. You played the way you were supposed to play. I just don't own a Zacian.
Yeah. We are both learning, unfortunately, him on the receiving end, me on the giving end, that Zacian is actually a very formidable Pokemon. Like, if you... just assume that every team's going to have a Zacian and have an answer for it, because if you don't have an answer for it in the restricted format, you're likely going to lose to it. It is just so powerful.
Fairy Steel typing is very stupid.
Fairy Steel typing is one of the best typings in the game. That's why
that's what I meant. By stupid, I meant very powerful.
Yes. There's that. You heard me in the match. I don't know if you heard me, but again, I meant to have Protect on Zacian. I did not mean to have Swords Dance. But it actually worked out in that second game.
That situation, the second you Swords Danced, me playing the game was a formality, no longer about winning. It was, man, oh man, would it be bad for the video if I forfeited right now?
That's fair. But yeah, like,
there's nothing my team could have done. You were going to one-shot everything.
Yeah. So, we have agreed I'm not going to use Zacian anymore, at least for a while. And I actually have an idea about getting you one, and we'll talk about it after this. But that's enough about Zacian. We all know it's broken. If you've watched the past few restricted battles, you understand, like, it does, 80% to a Groudon that's fully HP invested? Like, yeah. It's just so powerful.
And, like, you can fake it out, but, like, the fact that it took that flamethrower pretty well, I believe.
I was at +2 special defense at that point.
That's fair. That is fair.
Yeah. Like, the ground buffs are what won me that second game. And, I mean, they helped in the first game, too, quite a bit.
Yeah.
That being said, I actually really, I didn't get to see what your Kling did. Automatize, Dynamax, go for something, I'm guessing?
It was Automatize, and then I was supposed to go for a Gear Grind, which, I was honestly trying to get defense up, because I was like, man, I need to survive hits from the thing that can just dish out damage.
But then I had a +3 fighting.
And then I was like, that's dead now. But I honestly do not know if that crit mattered. I don't believe it did.
We can actually look at the calculation real quick.
Oh no, I trust you. I don't believe it. I think I would have died.
It's like, that's right. The damage calculator doesn't account for legendaries right now.
No, and I believe that was just a panic. It didn't help that the first match I started to tilt because I realized that my Power Herb was in fact Lucky Egg. Because I had to get that Pokemon to level 100 this week the hard way, and I did not remove the Lucky Egg.
Yeah,
because I needed to put some bottle caps into it.
So we might actually do if you want to keep that team, we can do a rematch. Obviously I didn't get to see much because Zacian just kind of did what he did.
Playing that team, and I'm going to let people know this because it may seem good on paper to have expanding Force Mewtwo with Psychic Terrain. No. Because playing Dustin and seeing his team and realizing the amount of Steel and Psychic types that are going to basically resist that strategy that are in that meta, it's not going to be as favorable as people think.
It's true. And then, I don't know if you realized this, obviously you realized as soon as it popped that the weakness policy was on Necrozma. That helped, but Prism Armor. Prism Armor is very good. Prism Armor is a very good ability. It's on Necrozma. You'll never see it proc, but what it does basically is super effective attacks actually deal 25% less damage. So pair that with a weakness policy, and Necrozma is actually a very powerful Pokemon. And that's why you're probably going to see quite a bit of him around in the restricted format. He also deals with Zacian pretty well, because Zacian can't deal super effective damage to him with its main stab move, or its main moves that it uses. That being said, never take Zacian for granted. Never treat it like it's not just a dominant threat. Eternatus with Meteor Beam and Power Herb. I was concerned when it used the Meteor Beam. I was like, that's going to be its +1 special attack, and it's going to hurt.
Oh, it had Lucky Egg, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I do believe, and this is true, Dustin would have still taken the first match.
I did max guard that turn because I assumed that Eternatus was going to target my Necrozma, and it turned out he did, so I would have max guarded, but you still would have got your +1 special attack, and the next turn you probably would have just taken out my
yeah.
Whatchamacallit.
Because I would not have had to have done the follow through.
Right.
That was the big issue, is that I had to follow through.
I would really like to see you use Eternatus again.
No, I'm going to still experiment with that because I do believe that's a legitimately good restrict Pokemon.
Poison Dragon's a really good typing, and his stats are actually really strong.
I want to experiment with Natures and EV spreads on it, because there's actually a couple builds you can do, because with 145 HP stat, it can also just be used as a bulky boy. This one was set as an attacky boy, but the other one can be a bulky boy.
Yeah. I was also talking with Zorn about the fact that Solgaleo is just as good as Necrozma. Because Full Metal Body is a great trade-off for Prism Armor.
I was very tempted with the original concept of bringing both this week.
Yeah, and I was actually going to point that out, that you could actually use Necrozma, Duskmane, and Solgaleo on the same team. Psychic Steel. They're both really good Pokemon.
Like, if I hadn't been trying to beat you, I would have gone an all-steel gimmick and brought them.
That's fair. Yeah, it's just... Like I said, Zacian's really stupid. Male Indeedee kind of threw me.
It's because it's faster,
Uh-huh.
and it also hits harder, and it was choice-specs.
I'll be right back. I gotta go take the tea off the burner.
As he gets tea for his throat, the reason I went with the male Indeedee is because its speed rank is actually, I believe, 95, which makes it faster than most restricted Pokemon, or on the level of most restricted Pokemon. So while holding choice specs, it will be able to do quite a bit with Expanding Force, especially with a Choice Scarf Mewtwo backing it up.
Especially if the opponent doesn't have all steel types.
Yeah.
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 As soon as I saw that you had Mewtwo and Indeedee, I was like, Brett's not going to be happy.
Was not. And then the first round was me trying to figure out damages, so maybe I would have a chance in the other rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that strategy and the damages involved were not good.
Yeah. It's tough. Like, Necrozma was not going to take anything from Psychic-type attacks.
Yeah.
I mean, you still did actually good, like, you did more than I thought you were going to with the Expanding Force onto the Necrozma. It's like, it didn't do just, like, 2 damage. It did probably, like, I'm going to say an 1/8 of its health.
Yeah.
That's not nothing considering it quadruple resists it.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else was on your team? Clang. I didn't get to see what Clang does.
It was a rest set.
Eviolite?
It was an Eviolite rest set.
Yep.
And it was supposed to just get faster, hit harder, and didn't get to do that.
That's fair. Or not, I mean. And then I guess there was like 1 or 2 of your Pokemon I didn't get to see.
Yeah, the Toxapex was primarily there to be a supporter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't help that there was so much Steel and Psychic on your team. More importantly, I was really expecting for there to be some more spread moves, because it was a Wide Guarder to protect me. And that didn't work.
Well, if it makes you feel better, my Necrozma did actually have Earthquake.
I was very hopeful when I saw the Landorus. I was like, oh, I hope he brings it. I'll Wide Guard for days.
Yeah, I determined that Landorus didn't really offer much against your team because you're mostly special attackers and he didn't have super effective damage or anything.
I didn't bring the Zapdos, but that was just there because it's a good bulky thing that can still do damage.
Yep. And he actually deals neutral damage to...
No, I did. It died. That's right. I did bring it one match. It died.
Well, that was because...
I didn't get to do anything
That was because I had his Zacian at +3.
It died.
Zapdos is a really strong Pokemon, though. Electric Flying is just an excellent
typing.
typing.
Very good typing.
And it's an excellent defensive typing, and if you build him bulky, he can actually stick around and do quite a bit for you. My team, I mean, you saw me use it. Zacian is Zacian. Necrozma with Prism Armor and Weakness Policy was just like, this is going to be a no-brainer that a lot of people try, but it doesn't make it less good, so I was like, let's go ahead and do it. I was going to do Life Orb, but then I saw the Weakness Policy, and I was like, that.
It's a good choice.
Raichu, Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing, Necrozma, insta good. But he also had Nuzzle and Fake Out. Like, it was really hard for me to... Oh, wait, no, it wasn't hard for me to not Fake Out at all because you had Psychic Terrain.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't Fake Out. So it leaves me with one option. And then you set off my Weakness Policy for me. I was like, great, now I'm just hitting my Necrozma for nothing.
I mean, hey, at least I did something right.
Well, yeah.
By activating your Weakness Policy for you.
Like, I maybe should have foresaw that your Mewtwo had a Fire move.
I knew that from you playing Raichu in the past, I wasn't trying to metagame, but if I know, I know. that your Raichu was going to set off the weakness policy. So I was like, I might as well just use super effective attacks now.
That's fair. That's actually, yeah, that's really smart. What else did I have? Heatran. Like, Heatran...
Another steel type.
Yeah, another steel type, but Heatran is also, like, I'm learning as we play with restricted Pokemon, he does so well against, like, all the restricted Pokemon. Because there's not a fighting type restricted Pokemon.
That I hope in the future we get one. And there is. I didn't bring it. It's steel fighting, in fact. It's a dog with a shield.
Oh, right, Zamazetto. I forgot about him. And then there's also not that many ground types that you'll see used, except for Groudon. Mm-hmm. But I feel like Groudon's honestly going to fall to the wayside just in the face of some of the things that are out there right now. Yveltal with Foul Play just kind of dominates a Groudon.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I said Raichu. What was my fourth? Oh, Heatran. But yeah, Heatran he resists so much. And he can put out pretty good damage. You can switch him in on fire moves for Flash Fire. That's actually really important. Because, again, you're going to see Groudon. You're probably going to see, fire tech moves just because Zacian and Necrozma are going to be everywhere. So he's probably going to be a pretty good Pokemon to bring with.
When I had my Zapdos out, I was like, I really wish I could use the spread move to hurt both of them, but my Heat Wave won't do shit.
But yeah. And then, it was Dark Urshifu, by the way. I had Dark Urshifu just because, there's a lot of Psychics in the restricted format. And
there's a lot of steel.
There's a lot of steel. And he deals super well with Necrozma. And I guess he's kind of okay into...
Well, also having a 97 base speed stat is very helpful, as most restricted, not all, like Zacian is 1 to 47 speed, but most restricted back in the day had a 90 or 95.
Zacian's 148.
148. Okay, sorry, 1 point off. Yeah. For example, it might surprise people to find out that a regular awesome Sky Dragon named Rayquaza has a base speed of 95.
I thought it was 115. That must be his Mega.
Its Mega has a faster speed.
Yes.
Its regular form has a base speed of 95. Now, Urshifu's not going to do much to it, but a critical hit is a critical hit.
That's true, and it doesn't resist Dark. So.
It doesn't.
Honestly, an Urshifu could probably one-shot Rayquaza if it doesn't have any defensive investment. Because Rayquaza is actually pretty squishy for a restricted Pokemon.
If banded, maybe. Yeah.
So yeah, that's why Urshifu's in there. Mostly just to deal with the Psychic types that are around, but it also does neutral to damage to almost all of the legendaries. And then Landorus obviously in there to deal with the likes of Groudon and stuff. So, yep. Those are two teams. Hopefully next week, definitely next week, I won't be bringing Zacian, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Until next time, don't lose hope, stay safe, and have a good night.
And share the video!